clicking go live on YouTube, and I'm switching. We are live. I'm switching to your screen, and I'm putting it on main screen. Hello, everybody. Seems to be working.
Okay. Hello. Good evening. How are you guys doing? Let me know if you can see things fairly clearly. I can see we are doing the Google Meet, so it might not go down to 25 times a day. You cannot go full screen inside the Meet because there is still this kind of like Google buttons.
Yeah, I think they'll have to. Brother, I think we'll have to do with this. Great preparation, RunnerXBT. But this is the most full screen I think I can do.
Okay. So we will just fix the bottom banner for the next episode, so it's a little bigger and it overlaps. Yeah. Welcome to the most professional streaming channel. We have a bunch of experience. Anyway, hello guys. It's 6 o'clock at least where we at, so we can start. Hi guys, welcome to the next episode of the musical chairs. Some of you may have noticed from the obnoxious Twitter shells that we have a new sponsor who decided to sponsor the stream. Poor guys. But yeah, from now on we are sponsored by Woo. It kind of makes the most sense since both of us were sponsored and partnered with Woo on a personal account and all of that. With this sponsorship, it came a ref link, and
fucking sellout.
Link, you can find it in the description. It's at the musical basically. You will see this as a first link in the description. If you are going to use the ref link, you will get actually the same benefits that I offer on my link, all the Tradingriot, bootcamp discount and free blueprint. So it's not like you have to decide whenever you're going to use, and also you will get tier 1 fees for the next 30 days, which is better maker and taker fees. It also helps us a lot, kind of showing the support and everything. So yeah, if you are looking for a new exchange, you can register your account at Woo, and you will be eligible to use all these benefits after you are going to open the first trade. So you don't need to only register, but also open the first trade. The size of the trade does not matter. So with that being said, we can talk about BTC, which is at exactly the same price as the last two streams, basically. But I don't want to. If you watch the last episodes, I spoke about basically this kind of overextension that we are sitting at this +1 standard deviation of the prior VWAP, the 3 standard deviations of the current VWAP. I'm not going to repeat myself. I kind of was looking at this today, was thinking that I will try to give you a little more concise plan, and I think I kind of have one, but we will have to go over to the weekly chart. What we basically have here is an inside week candle, meaning that this candle right here, let me just highlight this, didn't trade outside of the range of the previous candle. There are plenty of examples. This is something that you can also easily backtest. You can see we have, for example, one right here. We have basically a bunch of these inside week candles after large expansions like these. Basically, these are, most people treat them as kind of a possible breakout candles. So if you're gonna break above the inside week high, we're gonna push to the upside. If you're gonna break towards the low, we're gonna go to the downside. But more often than not, these are usually kind of the trap setups. You can see, for example, right here before the rally, we had a inside week candle, which was basically this bar right here. And if you're gonna take a look at little lower time frames, I think on H4 should be enough. Yeah, we have this kind of a situation where we traded under the inside week low, right here, quickly reclaimed it, traded towards the inside week high. So starting the week, this is going to be my kind of a immediate plan. I am not really interested in trading BTC within the range itself. I think it really can go both ways at this point. Also, what is kind of supporting my idea here is that if you're going to take a look at spot, markets, we have Binance, Coinbase, Bitstamp, and Kraken. I believe the last one is Kraken. Yeah, it is Kraken. You can see that we have some bids laying in this kind of 34K range, basically, which is the inside week low. Okay, so underneath these lows, we also have on the lower time frames, we have kind of very flat lows right here. We have the prior quarterly VWAP plus 1 standard deviation. If you're going to take a look at ETH, for example, as ETH rallied, I was actually trading this last week. ETH had this kind of like a sweep underneath the lows inside the quarterly VWAP standard deviation before the next leg up. So this is definitely right here at this kind of 30K, 34K level is something that I would be watching. So simple as that. I think we are more likely to revisit the lows before the highs, but like I said, it's really hard to tell without this range. It really can go both ways. But if something like this would happen, for example, we take all these lows, we see some nice liquidation, some nice absorption, then I will be more than happy to just take a long, targeting the inside week high at the 36. Same goes for the opposite side. If we would travel to the highs first, I would love to see these highs taken out, so something like this basically, and maybe a rotation lower. Obviously, this can still be the breakout situation where you are going to basically trade to the either side of this inside week range. The market is just not going to snap back. At that point, if you would just break down lower and didn't have this kind of immediate buyback, then we are trading basically back within the quarterly VWAP and also the favorite H4 trend I wanted to mention, but this is way higher at this point. So, but this is kind of the moving average ribbon, very popular to use during the trend moves. This would be completely broken at that point. So yeah, if we're not going to basically bounce back from that inside week low, I would be most likely looking for a rotation lower. There is still a level, in my opinion, here, which doesn't make it too far from these lows, but yeah, this is something that I would be looking at as my kind of first target, basically filling a little bit of this kind of a gap, which we have right here. And you have like a general SR level right here as well. I don't know. Yeah, on a weekly, it's much cleaner. Basically, let me just clean this up a little bit. On a weekly, you can basically see, Jesus, it's so many lines. Sorry for that. On the weekly, you can basically see that this was this kind of up candle that sent the market lower. We had resistance here, and then possible kind of a revisit of the support. So even though if we're gonna basically break down from the inside week low, and we are not going to kind of immediately reclaim this, I wouldn't be like too bearish, because we at this point would be coming into like a big weekly SR level. So yeah, that's kind of a my goal. Obviously, it can just go up from here, but I would love to see some sort of pullbacks first. Also, kind of interesting point here. The spot is actually fairly populated again. You can see this most likely on Binance. If you're gonna just zoom in, Binance tends to be the one. You can see how much the spot book was basically skewed to the upside before we had this huge rally. Then we had this kind of overshoot. It started to disappear again, but the bits are kind of starting to show up a little bit again. And this is a really cool tool on Tradingriot, because it's been the case for most kind of big reversals throughout the whole year. So definitely, I'm not the biggest fan of heat maps for various reasons, but when you see these kind of books getting heavily skewed, especially on the bid side, then you can see that CZ is bidding as well. So that's nice confluence, I would say. But yeah, it's nothing too extreme at this point, to be fair. So that's, I think, about it for BTC. It's not much to talk about. I know this kind of 34K sweep is something that everyone is looking at this point, I feel like, but it would be, for me at least, the only play that would give me like a favorable risk reward scenario. And we had a bunch of these kind of retests of this quarterly VWAP. Let me maybe highlight this a little bit. I don't know if you can see this. I set these things too dark all the time, so they are not too disturbing. But looking at like a bunch of altcoins, these you can see basically these are really acting as these kind of dynamic SR levels before any next leg ups, especially if you're like taking some lows during that as well. So yeah, this would be kind of a play for me on BTC at least.
And do you have any takes on ETH?
I think I was long ETH, which I'm not anymore. I'm a little. I don't know how I feel about this. Basically, yeah, I was long ETH, the same kind of, and I think I shared this on Twitter as well. We had this kind of huge run up on Wednesday last week. Then we basically flushed all this OI, all these kind of FOMO longs basically got kind of squeezed, but I still saw this as kind of a solid level of SR, especially after taking all these lows. So basically, I took a long. Closed it yesterday around this kind of a 18.95-ish area, which is basically where we are at right now. But I don't know, like ETH is looking decent. Like obviously BTC is way overextended, especially if you're gonna take a look at like this is the yearly VWAP standard deviation high, which is basically at 30K on BTC. ETH is kind of crawling up from it now, and to be fair, my original target for the ETH long was all the way up here, 1945, which looks like it's going to hit. I just something that I would love to see, and obviously we had these huge expansion candles, but for any type of continuation, it really feels like you either want to see like a huge flash down, which is very quickly bought, or you want to see that kind of next big candle that is clearly showing you that there are new buyers kind of present in, and there is really this kind of a interest to chase this higher. Also, I think ETH, this ETH book, it's way less populated than BTC. You can see this on Binance, even though Binance basically also was heavily bidding on the lows, in the middle of October. It's not really, the bid is not there at the moment. Same on Coinbase, and if I'm going to zoom out, you can see there's very different dynamic between this kind of like, you can say this is like spot demand, although obviously these offers don't have to get filled, they are just kind of hanging there. But you can kind of see this difference comparing ETH from middle of October and now kind of the situation right here when this is more skewed basically on the offer side. But you can see that like next big offer on ETH is still sitting at 2K, so it still doesn't have to mean much. But yeah, I'm just personally not a fan of this kind of like very slow grindy price action. Basically nothing is going on here, which is fine. We are still kind of trending up, but I feel like with like longer the markets in general just do nothing, the higher likelihood is that you will have this kind of a Darth Maul candle when something like this can happen, or something really crazy, because how much kind of positioning is coming into these things. We can take a look at the BTC here on Velo. Basically, market is in super tight range at the moment, but the open interest is still up like 7-8%, which is like 350 million on kind of a 2% price change. So it's not like too compressed, but I think you get the point that like longer market is going to just go sideways. The more people will try to position before kind of next big move, and the higher likelihood of something like this is maybe to happen, or whatever kind of a big violent move that will shake up everyone before before the things go down. So yeah, these are my thoughts on BTC, on ETH. Like I said, especially BTC hasn't been much exciting. To be fair, ever since the highs happened, I was only trading altcoins and ETH. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll switch for a sec to my screen. I have a few things I'd like to add. I don't know if I can, how I can, whatever. Let's do it this way. Finally, the screen might not be fucked up for a second. Only thing I would like to add with BTC, and for this example, I'm gonna use Coinalyze. Even though obviously we love Velo, it's just the reason why I'm showing you CoinAlyze is because it also has several other exchanges, but to me, interestingly, also CoinM. So the third CVD, just I think it's important contextually. I think I'm repeating this for third stream now or second at least, but just simple numbers, how much leverage, because Adam sent me this screenshot before the stream in private, right? That was the highest open interest, right? You mentioned in BTC.
Yeah, it's somewhere on CoinAlyze actually, that kind of chart.
Yeah, I'll try to find it. It's here, aggregated coins. I just don't want to lose this tab. The idea is that open interest is kind of grinding, but there's also CoinM. So just I do believe it's relevant because a lot of the Bitcoin OGs and people actually trading Bitcoin on back in BitMEX days, unlike us two, the guys streaming, like CoinM is a thing still, and open interest on CoinM is 2.7 billion, and on USDM is 7. It's like 1/3, I guess, if my mathematics kind of works. So it's kind of relevant because it's a lot of, just contextually. Fully agree with everything that Adam said, I guess, on Bitcoin front. I guess we could slowly try to transition into ETH BTC.
Yeah.
Or because we covered ETH, nothing to add on ETH. Want me to go to your screen?
Yeah, I don't think, like I said, I think ETH is still looking very good. I'm just not long anymore, so I hope it goes to 0, but yeah.
I'm mega long ETH. I've been making local tops on ETH BTC every single day, basically.
Yeah, ETH BTC is finally kind of catching up. Obviously, I don't think, to be fair, like this chart from like a TA perspective is anything amazing because like people are not actually trading this. Like you cannot gain that much information. I know like people love to chart ETH BTC. I think it's really not that something that is like actually traded, but yeah, we are at the support. We had first up week after like month and a half, so obviously a lot of altcoins are rallying. I think we have this kind of like large volumes coming to the lows, which are always kind of sign of possible reversals, but I would personally do something like this if I would just use the TA here, and if we basically manage to break above these kind of highs here, I think that we can have a little extended rally on ETH BTC, which would signal ETH strength and altcoin strength as well.
Yeah, I think I know you kind of between the lines taking shots at me with the charting ETH BTC. But the only reason I kind of care is because I guess I would sum up our previous 20 minutes of the stream is Bitcoin sideways, ETH BTC picking up. So in my eyes, it's kind of a bit of rotation because the Bitcoin is in our attention span of crypto traders is boring, right? And now you have these altcoins popping off. So I think that's the whole basically message. That's why the stream is out rally, why BTC sleeps.
And I think like there is obviously like people like to spend more time on Twitter arguing if we are in alt season or not. But I think there was quite some time of us having this kind of a lot of rallies in altcoins with BTC doing nothing, which is like a typical quote-unquote kind of bull market thing when money actually are flowing into a lot of altcoins and they are like breaking all these correlations and everything. So I think it's kind of worth to mention that, instead of just arguing.
Because that's what we've been doing all this stream, right? We've been always like, not sure if you want to long altcoins when Bitcoin is styling. Because in bear market, that's usually the classic BART. And now alt season.
Yeah, definitely. Like I had, like I've been, like both of us been trading altcoins this past week or so. And, always like throughout basically this year, every time I was long some altcoin, it was really kind of stuck back in my head, the fact that, okay, like I'm long this, but if BTC is just going to dump 5%, I'm fucked basically at this point. But yeah, now we way more clearly kind of see these rotations and not really caring about BTC kind of strength or weakness basically.
I guess the last thing before we move to this next category of best performance is we are 65 days away from ARK's Bitcoin Spot ETF. So with every day we keep grinding. I think I'm not here to make a predictions for over 2 months, but wouldn't it be fucking crazy, pardon my French, if Bitcoin was kind of chopping between 33 to 35 and or breakout higher, while we have 2 months of basically aping altcoins, which I think would be the best case scenario. Imagine that, like Adam, because we are going to discuss some trades, but we've been actually, I don't want to brag too much, but we've been trading a lot of altcoins with Adam, which is like on the long side, which is, that's the bragging part, like, and successfully, which is also the bragging part.
Took us only 3 weeks of just up only to kind of do that and start longing as well, but yeah.
But you know, I'm super proud about that. I don't know, maybe I might be the top signal, but if we could get these conditions until halving, which imagine is like 10% up candle, and then just a Mordor until halving, that would be like. Okay.
I think like the most kind of important thing for me, at least, is having this kind of like decorrelation, because like there are some altcoins that are looking amazing, and there are some altcoins that are looking like shit still, in my opinion. So, you know, like being rewarded basically for picking up like the strong performance with any kind of narratives or whatever is like the ideal case, in my opinion, of these kind of like trading conditions, when you really like pick up something that you think should be strong for a variety of reasons, and it's actually kind of outperforming BTC and, you know, outperforming a lot of other things, rather than, you know, you just kind of go one by one and try to trade everything because, you know, everything is kind of going up lately.
Also, maybe one thing I would like to mention, because we had this conversation in private, and I think it's no secret I've been sidelined for a lot of this move on BTC, but I do believe it's important to recognize, let me actually go for a second to my chart on BTC. It's important to recognize that, or like set the levels where would be your market-wide invalidation, which are the levels you mentioned. For me, for example, obviously it's the H4 trend, which I've been tweeting 11,000 times because order flow is no longer cool. But as long as Bitcoin is, as Adam said, sideways, and you have these narratives or altcoins relatively doing well, like there's no reason to be kind of, how to say, like I would still be punting these longs. Obviously you must apply, how do you call it, risk management? How do you call it? Like you cannot just martingale into longs, but personally, as long as Bitcoin is just chopping, trend is higher, trend is up, and you see if BTC grinding up and these altcoins, even the most mid-curve narratives pumping, which we're gonna move on after this minute rant of mine, there's no real reason to be, you know, like afraid of trying.
I think like what a lot of people should be doing, because I see like now on Twitter, like everyone is kind of trying to trade everything that's just going up, you know, like you don't want to be basically in like 10 long positions at the same time. Obviously that can work and you can hit it big, but at the same time, like sizing into 1 or 2 trades where you have much higher conviction, and, you know, like still if BTC is going to have this huge dump, you are not getting hit too much, because obviously you are only in one trade that you can manage, rather than, you know, starting to panic and look at 10 different longs going, you know, against you type of situation.
Yes, sir. So when I move to best performers, do you want your screen, my screen? I don't mind.
You can keep it on yours. It's
so which one we want to do first?
Yeah, like there is basically Solana, Link, and Cardano, in my opinion, are the 4 which are the strongest one, which is like, and especially Cardano, you know, it's pretty crazy, because I don't think like, you know, I
didn't see anybody actually really discuss it on CT, which is quite fair. So what happened with Cardano? I would like to question you, because you're now a narrative trader, very good one actually. Yeah. So tell me what happened with Cardano.
To be fair, I wasn't looking at it much, but I believe there was also some sort of conference at some point. And yeah, this is just like, yeah, there was actually, and this is like super interesting dynamic, because the conference happened, I think, towards the end of the month, where we had this like very small sell-off, like 31st to 1st, but it's been basically up only kind of ever since. So that's like a huge difference, you know, from what we had basically this year. And, you know, it's like the same thing on Link.
I think you're completely right, because all our streams, if somebody would like watch back, we would discuss these narratives, because 100% win rate. That's why my PNL curve was looking good, because you could literally short anything, it worked. And now it's like it's exact opposite, right? It's in a way it's like buy the news, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Like, you obviously you had this kind of like usually throughout the year, you had these like 2 weeks before any kind of event where market kind of started to rally a little bit, but then you still had this like decent sell-off right into the event, after the event, or so on and so forth. And we can see a lot of these, like a huge change in that, where really like these things just continue to go up. And I believe that like people, when they are kind of looking to buy new things, seeing that at least something is going on in this kind of more of a risk on environment, can be just a catalyst basically for continuation. So yeah, it's definitely a huge change of the overall dynamic we had throughout the year.
And also, I guess the advice is, because I'm sure there's a lot of people sidelined. I mean, we're technically too, right? We are not like full net worth spot long, but we try to take these trades to kind of make up for it. And I'm sure a lot of people watching, or maybe one, has this like, fuck, what do I do? Like, do I buy, like we discussed Cardano, it's up like 60%. Do I buy here? No, I think the general rule of thumb would be, find a coin. We're not going to give you a list of tickers probably. We will discuss some of the upcoming catalysts, but it's like you want to see something with a catalyst, but in the future, right? And I don't mean future in like March 2027. I'm talking, 2, 3, few days out. You want to, like, you don't want to look. I think with Cardano, I wouldn't be so sure. Maybe for Solana, we could make a case that it's, it had the conference, but I don't really think anybody was longing because of the conference. It was more of the whole Solana mainlet FTX funds.
I think for me, the way that I look at these things, like I said, these are basically 4 coins. I kind of have in my mind, I don't really trade these because I think like you said, longing here doesn't really make sense to me. But if there would be this kind of a bigger BTC sell-off into a decent level, I think these are still going to be a good kind of BTC beta plays, even though they don't have much going on for them, like in terms of events or conferences or whatever, because everything kind of happened. But these had such a strong beta that the likelihood of just more capital kind of flowing into these, because obviously like these are good performing coins, so everyone wants to be a long strong thing. So I'm not trying to catch the top, because also I think that like what you often see when there is a bigger sell-off, these strong coins don't sell off all that much. So I don't think there is like a huge risk to reward of trying to be short Link or Cardano. But more, they are more on my wish list. When if some big sell-off is going to happen, I might just be buying these maybe instead of BTC even.
Actually, Solana, again, this is not me bear posting, it's just reality of how moving averages work. It is for like kind of losing momentum. I'm not saying this is bearish.
Solana is definitely the one which looking the weakest. We had this kind of on 1st of November, basically last Wednesday, we had this like huge, that candle basically with like a huge wick. These are very often like signs of this is just going to slow down drastically. You can see the one in mid-July, if you're going to zoom out a little bit and look at the mid-July candle, when you had this huge overshoot as well. These are very often kind of signs of moves about to end. But at the same time, if you're going to take a look at the daily chart, which we haven't even traded on Solana underneath that Wednesday low, basically. Like the huge candle that kind of has this huge wick, we didn't even break underneath the low. So, Solana is down 2% on the day. It's losing momentum definitely, but we are still within a range of that one big day. Like if this would be really, really weak, you would see that kind of immediate, breakdown and immediate, sell-off basically. And this is also like how I trade these very often. Like if you're gonna just take a look at the July one, basically just draw the line on that kind of low of the day, and once you start breaking that and retesting that, it's very often acts as kind of SR, and you can kind of take it from there.
This is actually super clean, obviously hindsight 2020.
Yeah.
But the bearish retest of the low, wow.
Yeah, these are happening when you have like candle which is like 3 times of range of any usual day, and it has long wick like this. This is also high relative volume as well. Then then you really want to be waiting for that kind of break of these lows before going into any shorts.
Narratively speaking, just to add, sorry to cut you off, FTX just had a Solana breakpoint in Amsterdam, which ended. Apparently, I heard from many people the conference was a lot of fun. Weather was shit. Obviously, I'm not here to do weather reporting. But to me, most important or interesting thing with Solana is that we reclaimed the pre-FTX breakdown levels, which I think is massive for the community, for the holders. I know this is not like community cheering from RunnerXBT, the local top, but that's impressive. I really am impressed. And also you have the FTX estate. Apologies, I'm a FTX creditor, so I need to brag about it. You have this big fund from Novogratz. Its name is Galaxy. They've been transferring quite a lot of coins. I believe it was like 9 figures, like 150 or 60 million dollars just today. And price didn't move. That's also quite impressive.
I think it says a lot, like the fact that before the whole rally, we had this situation where people were just heavily shorting this based on the whole FTX situation, and this just got completely bought up like so much. So I'm personally, like Solana, I think I'm going to just join the medlets basically if we're gonna dip. I think weekly chart is fairly clean. We had this kind of that FTX breakdown on a weekly, if you're gonna take a look at that, and this acted as resistance this year in that kind of July push. It acted as support before that, so I don't think there are too many reasons to try to kind of overcomplicate this. If you're gonna dip into like 32 to 31 level, I will be looking
buy spot, right?
Any kind of reasons to just go long.
Like since when we're doing price predictions, look, if you believe eventually in bull run, ETH to whatever 5K, I think if you buy Solana, as you said, low 30s, I think there's a 3x.
Yeah.
I mean, we're making price predictions for bull run if this is not the top. Let's move on to Link maybe, because I think it's also a coin which me and you, maybe more me, sorry, I don't want to be, you're not the guy shorting everything, but like Link is impressive because it had the conference. We actually, that's interesting because we did have a sell-off, right? This part right here is the sell-off. And God bless, we managed to get the fuck out of those shorts, because if you look about it now, it's such a scary looking chart if you're short. So again, conference, small dip, and then just relentless up only. So
and Link breaking out from this 2-year range once again. You can kind of zoom out to the weekly. You have this very clean kind of breakout point at like $8. If you're gonna dip into that, I think you can just get away with buying a spot. With kind of this hard invalidation, at $4 or $5, and this
50%. Me and you usually on Twitter, 1,000, 1,100 are on this 1% move. But I think it's important to say, right, because the game kind of changed. We were used to trading these ping pong ranges, and just like that's what you kind of have to do. Now you see these big caps making 50% weekly moves, so you cannot just trade 1% moves. I think that's not the meta.
That's and it's also one of the things, like when we were in this more like not only like down only, but more of like a tighter range kind of environment with lower volatility. I was using lower time frames, like I know you are trading 1 minute charts still, but like I've been using usually hourly time frames for like executions and stops and everything. But now I'm like slowly increasing that, looking at more like a H4. I'm more than happy to give things a little more room, because obviously I still believe that every type of environment is like predatory in a sense. Like obviously this is like easy market for a lot of people, but still you will have these kind of squeezes and all of that. So like I'm increasing the time frames a little bit. I want to give things a little room because it's been rewarding so far. Like a lot of these things that I traded, I just used like higher time frames, gave things few days, and they kind of ended up doing fairly well.
Maybe Injective from the
like Injective, this is like, I don't know, like
holy shit.
At this point, I don't know. To be fair, this is like me being lazy, but I don't know why this is going up so much. Yeah, like I kind of understand, like Solana, Link had these conferences, you know, these are the kind of like OG big coins, you know, there is still like a huge community in this as well. But like Injective is this like layer one. I don't
I'm
know if
pretty sure
there's
it's making new all-time highs. Or
yeah,
maybe I have a wrong chart.
no,
I,
you have a wrong chart, but
I'm,
it's like 30% away from the all-time high, basically.
do you know
So
which exchange is the oldest? Maybe Bitstamp? Hell
I
no.
think no, Binance USDT has a lot of data. I think there's like
Oh
Binance
yeah.
USDT has the all-time high in May. The all-time high is
Yes, yeah, I see it. I see it
$25.
now.
So
I
yeah,
mean,
this
it's
is like
inevitable, right? At this point.
this is like 30% from the all-time high. Like I said, I should have looked into this much more. Obviously, in hindsight, I have no idea why this is rallying so hard because I don't see anyone using, you know, Injective as kind of the later one, and I don't see anything built on it, to be fair. So, but I'm like I said, I haven't really looked into it.
Well, look, I mean, one thing I would like to. This is me and you. I've never touched Injective. God bless, because my Bertard PTSD would have shorted this and liquidated the entire fund. But I would like to give props to Pierre again. Like he's spamming me on Discord like every other day. Long Injective, and I'm like, dude, it's up so much. 2 days later, Pierre, bro, long, you know. And I'm basically, this is Pierre sending me messages basically from 8 to 18. I'm like, okay, and look at the H4 trend. That's why I'm saying it, not to like.
These
It's
are the
so.
prime conditions for these things, basically. You know, you're just really riding the trend. And someone is asking about the trailing stop losses as well. You know, this is like something that I do. You know, I know a lot of people are just taking partial profits. I really just get in and get out like full from the positions. And to be fair, like using something super simple like the, you know, runner has the H4 trend, you know, using this kind of condition that if H4 is going to close underneath these like fastest moving averages, you are out. You know, you are basically so happy because, you know, there is like no exit signal all the time. So this is very kind of specific to this kind of environment. You know, you really need to have these kind of aggressive moves, ups and downs. This is not my favorite thing to trade because I really like to trade things when, you know, like you have these like huge flushes when you are getting in the position after everyone is getting kind of liquidated, and or you can see like large amount of kind of shorts or longs piling in, and you are just going with this kind of mean reversion. But you know, it's very important to be able to kind of recognize and understand that this is not that type of environment.
To short.
You know, you need to not even to short, but also like be like wait for like more confirmation. You know, like because throughout the year when, you know, I really see this with the trades that I took, like I was really taking these like flushes in terms of like, you know, everyone is getting taken out. And even ETH with its kind of rally that it had on Friday, you know, like the low was like 1775. We didn't really take out all that much of the positioning. You know, this wasn't like some huge wake, some like high volumes coming in or anything like that. You know, we had this dip, but it was still kind of very shallow pullback, and you know, you just basically had to jump in to be long rather than, you know, wait for this kind of like everyone needs to be taken out. You know, like if you maybe very quickly can switch to my chart. So
Yeah, sorry, just please, of course.
So I can kind of show you the difference between these two things. This is basically ETH on H4. You know, you have like situation like this when you like have like huge overshoot, you know, on high relative volumes. You are taking out basically all these lows, everyone is in pain, and you are going to basically short into this, comparing to, you know, this thing when like the pullback itself wasn't, you know, there wasn't this like huge wake, everyone is getting liquidated, everyone is crying type of situation. So this is that kind of change of the environment. And even like Cardano, you know, like we had this little bit of sell-off during I believe this was that conference thing, you know, like what lows we took, you know, like we have these kind of climbing lows, like everyone is still kind of long and chilling here, and we didn't even take these, you know, like haven't done something like this basically. So yeah, definitely more kind of shallow pullbacks in this type of environment.
I guess I feel like we're kind of repeating ourselves. Maybe something actually actionable. Say like to me, and again, I'm repeating myself, but I've had big issue adjusting to this. Like I've had this, I cannot long here, it's up too much, or like I'm like literally at my computer 17 hours a day, pretty much, maybe a bit less, sorry, 16 and a half. And I'm watching the chart go up. I message Adam, I message group chats, it's gonna go up. I watch it go up, but what do? I do not long it. And I'm sitting there like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah, like to be fair, you know, and I know that like it kind of sucks to watch market to, you know, go 30% up and you are just kind of sidelined and coping and everything. But at the same time, you know, like if you are going to buy here, for example, like where your stop kind of goes, you know, like you kind of need to put this all the way underneath these lows. And I always kind of think like, you know, like this can do something like this. Basically, I'm just going to sit in this for days, hoping it's going to kind of reverse and all of that. So yeah, but this is maybe something that I know both of us don't do at all, but like options are great for this because like you're gonna buy call options.
Oh, here we go.
You know, you think it's going to go up, and you don't have that kind of fixed stop loss. You just have this time limit for the options. So that's something that.
Did you upgrade from your uncle to your teta? No, only Czech people. No, okay, that was.
Okay, so
maybe just sorry on the last one with the trends. If you would like to these trend continuations we discussed, if you can, I don't know your bankroll. Try trading these with like minimum size, just like to get a feel for it. Because I feel like watching a chart go, like something that you would not, you know, you can lose whatever $10. Use isolating margin and whatnot. Just try to click a little bit to get a feel for it. I think there's, especially if you're like PTSD bear tart like me, not bear tart, but you know, scared to play these, just put minimum size that your favorite exchange allows you, use our reflink, and just try it. I think like you might see, wow, like I have some feel for it, you know, I don't know. I think it's more productive than watching the chart go and cope. That's my end of it. Maybe the upcoming narratives?
Yeah, so we have a bunch of things coming this week. They are, we can start maybe with the AI conference, which is basically, I think, happening all the way through Thursday. So it's like next 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest ones from that, I think, is WorldCoin, which is just piece of shit market because the way that this is, you know, how market making works on this, I have no desire to trade this, to be fair. So that's not the most insightful thing. Okay, so we now talked about how, you know, it's not good to short things, but I think, like, to be fair, like the AI coins are not looking the best at the moment. I, you know, been looking to short some things. This really had like such a strong moves, but it's still at like higher time frame, kind of breaking points in my opinion. I think Ocean from all the AI coins is the best looking one because they are teasing like crazy some huge. They have this kind of predictor AI application which I looked at. It's actually predicting prices of other coins. It sounds like completely stupid, but you know. It is what it is, and they have been teasing up, and I actually can show you the tweet because we really did our preparation for the stream. Is this thing okay? And they have the big things coming next week for Ocean Breakthrough. You know, is the platform they have? I believe they should announce it sometimes in like 9th, or that's maybe something different, but.
Predictor.
Yeah, there will be announcement coming from Ocean Protocol. The easiest way to do things is just set the, you know, turn on the notifications for them.
Yep.
Like I said, you know, these, you know, every time you see a team saying there is a huge announcement,
be skeptical.
Yeah, but it used to be a free short. At the moment, right now, you know,
it's a free long.
Yeah, it might not be as straightforward, but you know, I don't know. I think like overhyping things is always kind of a bad karma for a token. But yeah, this is still looking decent. You know, we are still If I'm gonna take a look at all the, yeah, we kind of dipped underneath these moving averages. We are reclaiming these. So and I think on Ocean especially, we have all these highs at like 44 cents, which should get kind of traded through. So I'm not really trying to take a short here.
And the open
But I
interest
think-
is non-existent, right? So that's bullish as well.
It's a really small coin. I was looking. This
Yeah.
is like a really low amount of volume.
Mm.
The world token, I think this doesn't look too good, but like I said, I can show you why I hate this. I showed this.
You're gonna show a picture of some altman?
The last name is just curse and
Hey, stop.
yeah, but
Maren, we love you.
this is how the order.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so this is like good luck doing anything, and you can also see where this basically top. Like we hit these like first orders, and this started dying down, and I think this is just such a shit thing to trade overall. So
That looks like Lido. It's probably the same market makers.
Yeah, like look at this. I have no interest in trading this. I mentioned to you actually yesterday that I have been looking to short RNDR, which I think is looking pretty weak. It's like the weakest one from all the AI coins, but it's still holding the. It's still kind of holding the higher time frame structures. Like you have basically like this area right here. This is like where the breakout happened. We tested it and rallied from there. I just look at this on, like we have this kind of staircase, like this type of price action. This is just like such a pain in the ass to even like look at, to be fair, when the coin is just getting like T-webbed to infinity. Sooner or later, I'm very sure we are going to, take all of this positioning. To be fair, took short, got filled overnight, kind of scratched it today, took a small loss on that. I just, like this is just looking like shit. But I really can see this just going lower from here. But
can we talk about the positive catalyst? I feel like we for 40 minutes talk about not shorting, and then this is a great short. I think this one is also a great short.
No, I just personally feel like AI coins might be a little kind of washed at this point, but
fair.
Also not super interested to just go short at these prices, because we gained a lot of structures on the way up. So I think even if they are going to sell off, like I said, the RNDR, for example, which I kind of reconsidered, is that okay? Like this might go lower from here, but we basically have this kind of a SR level just underneath that, so no reason to.
Maybe one thing I would like to also add regarding shorting or items showing a bunch of order books, heat maps. We can have another 11,000 hours worth of podcasts about heat maps and spoofing and whatnot. Please consider the liquidity in the market is relatively low, so it doesn't really take that much money to move things both ways, right? Yeah. It's like it's great. That's why we have these pumps, and that's why we had these flushes. And a lot of the byproduct of it is a lot of market makers shutting down, regulation and whatnot. So that's why in general, like shorting something super illiquid. Why I'm saying this, for example, I know there was a Floki a few weeks ago. It had like $1,500,000 open interest. So like this type of coin can basically produce 50% candles upwards. So even if you might be shorting with a stop loss, hopefully and preferably, you might get completely slipped the fuck up, right? Out or whatever would be the. So it's just please be careful.
Yeah, like when it comes to order books, and I can show this on Arbitrum because this is something that we traded last week. It's like not really looking where the size is, but how is the size kind of behaving when the market is moving. And you can see Arbitrum was, in my opinion, one of the cleanest kind of examples of this, where basically we had this large order sitting right here, and the moment we started to move higher, the order is kind of tracking the price on the way up, showing that there is this kind of demand ready to support it. There is a lot of nuances, and like Runner said, this could be for a next hour of just talking about all of these kind of specific order flow tools. But yeah, it's not as straightforward as okay, there is a order here, I'm going to short it because there is.
I don't know what happened. Oh no, good. I thought we lost connection, but it's back. Maybe we could actually. I know you made a dedicated video, but maybe I assume most of our viewership is coming from your side of things anyways. But maybe could you give us 2-minute TLDR? I know all of these, but I want you to speak about the narratives, because half a year ago you're saying it's all shit, and I would like take this opportunity to the 80 people watching. Adam is actually doing his homework, and it's starting to produce really good P&Ls, and it's weird to like...
You saw the fucking document I sent when I was logging out. When I was at school, I never put something too complex like this, basically.
Look, I'll give without the leaking details. Adam, Tradingriot, sent to a chat a PDF file with a thesis, why, what, when, how, about Arbitrum and 95 cents. Just to give you a heads up, all of crypto Twitter talked about it at $1, like 15% higher than when we were entering. So props to Adam, because half a year ago when I was talking about anything, I could hear him giggle about like, I do know this shit. Yeah. So kudos to Adam. He's now
times have changed. It's so sad.
Better market.
Anyway, we are very slowly approaching an hour, and I think we have one more thing to talk about, and I will we have like 2 things that we put down here to talk about, and I will let you do it, because I'm very sure you are going to be excited to tell us more about Ripple.
Fuck. Okay.
I wasn't trading this at all, to be fair. I had like a very small long position, which I like completely paper-handed, but Runner has much bigger PTSD, so I'm very happy that he's going to just take over and talk about
I'm gonna take it slow, because obviously I closed way too early, and when I closed, basically a 10% candle happened. But long story short, XRP, without turning this into a podcast about SEC and US regulators, XRP is a coin, it has a long history, thus whatever, it's very questionable. SEC sued them, and ever since that lawsuit, they've been basically battling all these problems with SEC. I believe this is the dump. I don't know, it doesn't matter. This pump right here was XRP beating SEC in a suit. This was probably short of the year for me, trade of the year in terms of P&L and everything. Fed now, but now we have this massive run up, right? But as we discussed this entire stream or podcast, whatever you want to call it, market conditions have kind of changed, right? So this candle right here wasn't really a Bitcoin move. It was more of it was when SEC dropped the lawsuit against the CEOs. So this candle up, and as you can see, sometimes with like shorting and retesting, this thing never retested. Adam mentioned this low, right?
Yeah,
on this way. Never ever touched.
After that first impulse, I was so ready to long this. I just wanted to see a small pullback. Basically, never happened. I chased it a little bit, but then closed it too soon. It's.
For context, I got in here at my average was around 54s. Sorry, 54s. I wish 44s. And I mean, I've been tweeting like a news reporter. I know I shitpost a lot. But whenever there's a good trade, look, it's not about turning this bragging. I want to explain the thing. We got the SEC lawsuit, and something interesting happened, because a lot of CT narrative, when you see green candle, they start doing research. XRP, Ripple has a conference that is starting tomorrow. I think, no, Wednesday and Thursday. I'm out, so in my head, my saltiness, me being angry about closing too early, is basically, I deleted from watchlist. I'll show you. Look, I used to have it in my watchlist. It's not there anymore. Basically, fuck XRP. No, but
I will make sure to send you a screenshot of every 5% candle on the 1 minute.
I'm blocking you. Thanks for sponsoring. I'm done.
This is me going back to day trading only to give you live price updates on XRP.
But look, no, XRP has a conference, Ripple swell, but that's the side of things of CT. Let me actually make notes. Apologies, but CT, what CT sees? Oh, Ripple swell. But that's not it. That's not why it pumped. That's not why we got long. XRP is actually not only has the swell on NOV 8 and 9th, it also has SEC deadline thingy on 9th. When, I'll explain in easy English so we can wrap it up and I can go cry, thanks Adam, is the SEC deadline is basically expectations of settlement between SEC and Ripple. That would basically mean no more lawsuits, right, in easy English. So all this pain XRP holders were enduring with this lawsuit and everything bad happening since the SEC lawsuit, whatever it was, is now over. So in my head, I'm not here to long and promote XRP at these prices, But in my head, it sounds like it could really, you know, pick up the big catalyst. Like all the pain is gone, right? And that's basically it. That's basically the longs. I did not care one fuck about Ripple swell. I only care about the deadline, and now it's nobody. Like if you Google Ripple swell and you look what is on the agenda for XRP or Ripple, the conference, there's actually nothing really interesting. Or only the CEO is talking at the second day. So my guess so it's actually actionable and not me explaining XRP story. Please, if you see something doing well, this is me sharing how I trade. If you see something doing well, and you see it on a CT2, do not follow. You can follow me for XRP, I'll be your news guy, but just put in the fucking ticker in Twitter yourself, and then do the ticker and put it in YouTube. And if you put 20 to 30 minutes of your time, and you just watch some videos, watch what the community is saying, there was like the thing about Ripple, you can easily get filled for high 7 figures if you want to. Like, you know, on some of these altcoins we say, oh, you buy 100K and like you slip the price 2%, like on Celestia, for example. But like on Ripple, you're free to do anything. So try to do some of your own research, and I guarantee you, and that's why Adam, I'll circle back to giving Adam compliment, is why he did so well on Arbitrum, is because he did the research himself. And it sounds like, oh my god, who has time to do research? It takes 30 minutes, I promise you, maybe less. In 30 minutes you'll exactly know when, how, who's expecting what, and then you see shit on CT and you understand they did not put the 20 minutes. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk.
Yeah, so with it being said, I think the 9th is going to be a big day for XRP.
Yeah.
Obviously, the chart is like giga overextended. If we're going to have any sort of pullback, I don't think this is going to be that based on how liquid this is. You know, this is not your kind of Burj Khalifa type of situation when this is going to just die. So I will be very careful to try to short.
Yeah, like I'll say it straight up. I stand by not shorting anything. It's up too much. It's bullshit narrative. The books are really thin. We could look at order flow, but just maybe it will be Burj. I just don't like you know, the thing I'm trying to process myself. If I shorted the Pico top, which is never the case anyways, let's say it catch 10-15% move, dude, it's up 15% today. You know, so it's kind of the conditions are kind of changing, and it pains me to admit it. Because longing XRP is like, if you told me that half a year ago, I would probably start puking.
Yeah, the level you marked is, in my opinion, a great level if you're going to revisit that kind of 62 cent-ish.
And target is 589 next.
Yeah, of course.
Second,
cool.
we have to do one of those.
Quickly, XRP. We have some like more shitcoins. I think we don't really need to talk about these. There is that kind of Dev Connect conference, but that's actually a week from now, and we will have one more stream, so we can maybe leave it for the next week as well.
I'm trying to think for this week. Yeah, I apologies. I'm very biased with the XRP. But I believe that is the biggest one because I think it has a ripple effect. No pun intended. By ripple effect, I mean this will be a potentially big win for the entire crypto industry. I hope it doesn't sound like cope, you know. So let's say we have a crypto company that got sued, and now they're like fully beat SEC. I think that could be well for another coins that are also deemed securities, which are your Cardanos, Solanas, Polygons, and whatnot. So I am. It's weird, but I'm net bullish on crypto, I guess, as an industry.
How down bet we are when we are
Celestia, somebody asking about yeah, there's no need, it's illiquid. It would be I think it's waste of everybody's time. I'm disappointed in the team personally. I think I've done my research and it's embarrassing. Not the research,
just like straight up this on Celestia. I haven't really but
it's just I expected the airdrop. Fractal expected this. I expected Saka to tweet. I expected. Where is my pump on Celestia? Yes, I own still some Celestia. That's why the tone in my voice.
Okay, so do you want wide flush into the array? Don't want to. I'm not going to break down the whole Abetrade. I actually made a video on YouTube about this kind of from like a TA side of thing from the order flow perspective, so you can watch that it's on my channel. I'm not going to break this down.
I'll give it in 30 seconds because we kind of missed it. We were longing because not only we were expecting the governance proposal, which I tweeted about earlier today. Sorry to quote tweet, but we wanna keep these streams 1 hour. So Arbitrum and also the Ethereum upgrade, which was postponed, which was the EIP 4844. The fact that I know the numbers means we really did our research. Which was postponed, I believe, till next year, right? So basically the idea is, so think about it this way. We buy, when ETH BTC is pumping, we expect the staking, then all of CT starts posting about it, it's kind of consolidating under daily resistance, and it gets delayed. Take profit, auf Wiedersehen.
Yeah, like there is
Arbitrum
day in 10 days, there is some ARP conference. I think this still can go higher, but yeah, like also it felt a little logical to me that if there is going to be a rotation from Solana and INJ, which are the layer ones, that Arbitrum is obviously the biggest kind of layer 2 there is, so it's a new coin and all of that. But yeah, so yeah,
1 hour flat.
Yeah, we are 1 hour flat. We kind of agree that we are going to keep it this way. So sorry for not having more time for any questions or any coins, but we can do this next time. We will try to kind of switch it up from time to time, give more room to the questions and less rooms for the questions and so on and so forth. But yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in. Like I said, if you want to support the stream, it would mean a lot if you would make
and leave a like on the video.
Like the video, make a new account on Woo, open the first trade. You will get all the benefits that me and Runner are offering on our personal links, so you're not going to miss on anything, to be fair, and it's just going to show the kind of support for the streams, because we plan to do these for quite some time, and obviously especially now when a lot of things are happening, I think kind of filtering out all the narratives and all the coins to watch can be very, very useful. So like I said, if you want to support us, make a new account on Woo, open your first trade, and you will get all the cool benefits that come with it. And with that being said, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next Monday.
Thank you, have a good week.